It's Good News with Gary, featuring University of Akron President Gary L. Miller.
Hi, everyone, and happy spring. I'm thrilled to have two special guests with me for this episode of Good News with Gary. Today, I'm welcoming Dr. Melanie McGurr, Associate Dean of the University Libraries, and Vic Fleischer, the Head of Archives and Special Collections. We recently celebrated National Library Week, so we're going to talk about what the University Libraries and Archives mean to the University of Akron and how students can take advantage of the resources available. Welcome, Melanie and Vic. Thanks for being here.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Melanie, let me start with you. I know we have a lot of stuff in the library, millions of books and repository for research tools and all the things that libraries typically have. But I'm kind of interested in what's happening in the library, what goes on there these days.
So yeah. Usually when people think of libraries, they think about a very traditional, research, studying, things like that. But as you said, we have a lot of other things happening at the library. And one of the things we try to do at Bierce is to create a safe, welcoming space for students.
Yeah, good.
So that a lot of students come in between classes. We have a lot of commuter students on campus, so it's important for us to make a comfortable space for them as well. So one of the things we added recently was a refrigerator, a microwave, and a coffee Keurig, so they could make their own coffee there, right? So they can come in, store their lunch during the day, and when they have time, they can come over, get it out of the fridge, heat it up.
Oh,
and
really?
Be able to do it right there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So it's extremely popular. I hear the microwave all day long, which is a good thing, right? They really use it. So it's important for us to make sure that they're feeling comfortable. And we also are really big proponents of soft seating and comfortable spaces for students. And that's also important for them to find a quiet spot to study. And we really aren't judgmental at the library about, you're there, you might be there to eat, you might be there to study, you might be there to talk to friends,
That's
we have
so neat,
different zones in the library. So students, know which zone to go to depending on their activity. So we do have, students are kind of all over the place.
So is there technology there for them to use?
Yes,
if they want to?
There is. So we do have public PCs, and we also do circulate technology. We circulate laptops, we circulate calculators, we circulate cameras, and those could be checked out for a semester, and you can even check out a laptop for an entire year if you need it. So it's really important. So that's a really big plus for student success as well.
So what's your impression of the students' view of the library and their access to the material that we have?
I think they really enjoy their time at the library. And like I said, it's not always just about studying, right? A lot of them spend a lot of time in their favorite place in the library, whether it be a certain floor, a certain chair, a certain table. But they do really enjoy having that space where, like I said, we're not judgmental, so they can come in and just kind of land during classes or between classes. They can sit there and take an online class too, right? The students do that as well.
It certainly seems busy.
Yeah.
Looking from book to hall when I walk out.
They love the study groups too. That's a really big thing that they love as well.
And I also wanted to ask you how online learning has affected what you're doing in the library.
So we were just talking a lot about the space of the library, the actual physical space, but we have a very active virtual space as well. Yeah. So students can use chat to get a hold of us. Students can also, contact their librarians and have a Teams meeting, a Teams consultation, things like that. So I think the students are reaching out to us virtually, in addition to all of our other, services that we usually run.
Great.
So it's busy, but it's great. The chat service especially.
I particularly like the food robots outside the door.
I love the robots.
That's something I advocated for a long time. So Vic, I'm not even sure a lot of people know about our archives. We have a fantastic, very large repository of important items. Tell us a little bit about that.
Sure. Well, the Archives and Special Collections, we were founded in 1965. We're one of the largest and oldest archival repositories in the state of Ohio.
Oh, wow.
So we have robust collections, very amazing resources that document, obviously, the history of the university going back to our founding in 1870 through the present time, as well as we're a regional history center, basically. So that's what our special collections are. It's a repository of primary sources, for the most part, that document the history of the University of Akron and the region of which the university is a part. So mostly Akron, Summit County history, local regional history.
So it's in the Knight Creative, the old Bolsky building, and I've been there. folks who want to see it can just come down, or you have hours, or how's that?
Well, yes, since the pandemic, we've changed our hours a little bit. We are by appointment only. You can schedule an appointment on our website, uakron.edu/library/archives. We're typically open from 10 to 3 now, Monday through Friday. That gives us a little bit of time to clean between patrons and get prepared so that when patrons come down, we're ready for them. We can get the materials pulled. It's unlike the regular library where you can just browse the stacks and pull things on your own. We prep things, pull things in advance. So all the materials, or the majority of them, are very special, one-of-a-kind resources. We have one of our earliest works is from the 10th century. It's a medieval manuscript. So, and we have a lot of rare books, special editions, first editions, signed editions. So
where do you get those?
So almost 100%, 99% of our materials are donated. We do very little purchasing. We don't really have an acquisitions budget for archives. So our flagship rare book collection, Herman Muhlstein rare book collection, was donated back in the 1960s. He was friends with President Auburn at the time.
Oh, wow.
Relationship. And so there's really some amazing resources within our rare books on the history of printing, the history of the book, really some amazing resources that our English students and faculty in particular use, and even graphic arts students and art students. But and then just amazing resource on the history of the University of Akron and the region. And tying in with what Dr. McGurr was saying, there's been a shift really in the past 20, 30 years where archives are really only used by serious researchers and scholars, right? There were some barriers to that. So although we still want to protect and preserve the collection, so there's a little heightened security, we usually have people wear the white gloves and handle things very gingerly. We want to make sure that students do know that they're welcome. We want our students in using our primary resources, and we do a lot with primary resource instruction.
So I don't want to get out of here without nerding out a little bit.
Absolutely.
Everybody's going to want to know what the coolest thing is we have in our art.
I'm always asked that, and I always say it's like picking your favorite child.
Ooh, that's the wrong person.
There's just so many amazing and cool resources in the archives. Again, our rare books, we have what are called some incunables, it means cradles. So they were some of the first books published using Gutenberg's printing press.
Fabulous.
We have an Ellis Indian Bible. It was the first book published in the New World, or the colonies at Harvard Divinity School. We have letters signed by Amelia Earhart that christened the Goodyear blimp, and Charles Lindbergh, who also christened the blimp. Photos of famous people flying on the blimp. Our Goodyear Tire and Rubber Company collection is really our flagship local history collection. We have artifacts going back to the founding of the college for John and Elizabeth Buchtel.
So I assume you've got a lot of old zip gear and so forth down there too.
Yes, we do.
History of
we do. I wish we had more. I don't think some of the early Zippy costumes survived. They were homemade paper mache. They're a little creepy if you see some of the photos. But we do have an early zip from the late 70s, early 80s, a Zippy costume, which the students just love to see.
And I think I have seen, correct me if I'm wrong, but you've got John Buchtel's desk down there.
That's correct. That was donated right before our sesquicentennial that we were 150th anniversary that we celebrated. It's on display in our reading room. We have some of John Buchtel's artifacts along with that, including his walking stick, the picnic basket that John and Elizabeth used to take out on campus and picnic with students.
I need to come get a picture taken at that desk.
Absolutely. That'd be great.
So both of you know community collaboration is really important to us, the University of Akron. What are some things the library and the archives are doing to partner in Akron? Melanie?
One of the things we just started this year is we have a partnership with Elizabeth's Bookstore, which is in the Well. And we've started collaborating with them for them to give us suggestions on books that we should have in the collection. We purchase items from them as well because we love to support their business, but we also they love to support us and the students here at University of Akron.
Right.
And obviously with our community history resources or local history resources, we do a lot with the local community. Archivists are doing more to do outreach, to promote our collections, to collaborate with community organizations. So a couple years ago, we worked with Art by Love to collaborate on the Akron rubber worker statue and storage project.
Great.
So the statue that's there is based on an image from our collection We have other resources that are featured in some of the videos. And that's akronstories.com. So they collected
Great.
hundreds of oral histories of local rubber workers. We've worked with Goodyear on their 125th anniversary. There's a docu-series, an 8-part docu-series on their history that's available on YouTube. We've most recently been working with Dave Lieberth and the folks in the city for the Akron History Center,
yes.
for Akron's
Good.
Bicentennial that's coming up. So some of our artifacts and resources and photographs will be
Perfect.
featured in the exhibit. And the Green Book Cleveland Project.
Yeah.
Some of our resources on local African-American history are featured on that website and in that project.
So Melanie and Vic, thank you so much for coming in and joining us today. And there's so much to learn and discover, so many resources in our library. Before we go, I want to remind you about the Good News with Gary contest. Note this phrase, "Let's go Zips," and email that phrase to the president at universityofakron.edu for a chance to win tickets to a UA football game next fall. And we're going to be really good in football, so this will be good. And please join me again for another Good News with Gary podcast.